was quiet for too long. We're back, Ben. We're back in the tiny room.
That made me so uncomfortable.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have any theme music, so someone will probably make one up for us. I don't want to name any. Rachel. I hope it's Rachel that does that for the podcast.
Yay!
Yeah, we're back.
It's sad that I hum that on the way to work sometimes.
It's exceptionally catchy.
It's so catchy.
Oh, Ben, by the way.
Oh.
Happy Ramadan.
Thank you. I will admit I've become something of a lapsed Muslim.
No, it was pointed out to me that we started our first ever episode by saying Happy Easter.
So we've now to continue that for the rest of our... It's been branded to the podcast.
Yeah,
Happy
Ramadan.
We must mark the celebrations that fall at the same time.
Yeah, when's Hanukkah?
Christmassy
time.
Christmassy time.
We're probably going to take a break then anyway.
The holidays.
Put out a greatest hits.
Yeah, why not?
Ben.
Yes,
we've had a tweet.
We've had a tweet.
We've had a tweet. We've had a tweet from Dan. On Twitter.
Okay.
He's at Mysterious Benefactor. Ooh, which I think is just a fantastic name.
Quite a fantastic Twitter.
And Dan he seems to be a concise person.
Okay.
Because Dan's tweet is the word fables and a question mark.
Oh, okay.
Which I suppose is to be read like fables? Is it?
Yeah. Is it? Okay. So fables.
So we're going to fables, but said with a questioning intonation.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so we're back. We're back. It's Ramadan. It was Easter last time. It's all come full circle. Episode 7.
Ben, I haven't really read Fables though, which is going to be an issue.
That might. Well, the good news is I've read Fables.
Yay!
Extensively.
Intensively.
Probably too intensively.
With a magnifying glass.
Yeah, I got down to the pixels. I went right down.
And a furrowed brow.
That's why I still have creases above my eyes.
I thought it was Botox.
No, it wasn't.
But before we do that, let's take a look at the news for the week. Do you have any notes? No. No, not a lot happened really, did it?
Bit of a sparse week.
It was sparse. Well,
for our opening segment.
Yeah. Was it? It wasn't so much that it was sparse, just that it seems like Wonder Woman just swept everything.
The known world. Like just everybody just went pow. Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
There
we go.
Like that, yeah.
And basically everyone that I follow on Twitter or Instagram or any social media is just all Wonder Woman,
which you're getting very good at.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
I just thought it should be said. Mick does a lot of hard work when it comes to the social media.
Stop.
He's new.
Oh, I'm blushing.
And he needs a little pat in the back every now and then.
Oh, thanks, Ben.
He's doing very well.
So anyway, did you enjoy Wonder Woman?
Define enjoy.
Did you see Wonder Woman?
By your definition, no. No, I do not.
So Ben hasn't seen Wonder Woman.
I haven't gotten around to seeing.
Is it Warner Brothers?
It is Warner Brothers.
If Warner Brothers would like to send us some free tickets to Wonder Woman,
I could use them.
Ben could use them because he hasn't seen it. Or if Marvel want to send us some free tickets to Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I still haven't seen that either. So that's 2 movies on the list now.
I'm starting to worry that this whole podcast thing is a performance art James Franco-esque thing that you're doing.
It is. It is. You just stepped on a year's worth of method and work. Oh, for God's sake!
I stepped on a year's worth of bits.
A year's worth of bits. Quite a lot of testicles.
Bits means testicles. I didn't notice that. Anyway, Ben, look, I did see Wonder Woman.
Cool.
I went to see it with my friend Shane.
Your friend Shane.
My friend Shane. Shane is a self-proclaimed. No, there's a better one. Self-professed.
That'll do.
Yeah, he's a self-professed expert in pornography.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly the right reaction to that. But
there's not a lot you can say to that, really.
Yeah, well, he is. But from an artistic standpoint.
Oh, for the aesthetics.
The aesthetics.
He's into porn for the aesthetics.
The plots.
The equipment.
The
manufacturing process.
What?
You know, things that vibrate. Things that hang from ceilings, you know.
So Shane gave me permission to read his review of Wonder Woman.
Okay, we have a review.
So I actually have a couple of reviews, but this is Shane's review.
Fantastic.
And this is what Shane says. He says, there's a new metric by which I shall judge you. If you liked Wonder Woman as a movie, not just because of a throbbing in your throbby bits,
fair,
I think you're a simpleton. Ooh. It's one of those movies where on every level, acting, choreography, script, special effects, and so on, I suspect the porn parody to outshine it.
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh.
Scathing.
Scathing.
A scathing review.
Like, that's...
So the scathing... Does scathing mean like cutting off skin?
No,
if it does,
scathing means that it scratches something.
Yeah, but then there's no skin left.
Yeah, I think it probably leaves everything a little bit raw.
On the other hand, and I put these two people on about the same footing. Stephanie Zach... I didn't write her name down clearly enough. Stephanie Zackendender from Time Magazine.
Time Magazine,
A professional
she's a pro.
woman.
She's a pro, not that kind of pro.
Oh God, Ben!
Sorry.
Feminists might listen because we're talking about Wonder Woman.
I didn't mean it like that.
Ben's retractions. I can probably set up the theme music.
I don't want to be social justice warriored. No, just leave me alone. I made a mistake. I'm a simpleton.
Anyway,
I'll probably like Wonder Woman when I see it.
Stephanie Zackendender from Time Magazine, who's a professional film critic, not like us. Two men in a tiny room.
Couple of rubes.
She said that Wonder Woman is a cut above the type of superhero movies we've been seeing for the last few years, right? So I mean, how are these
opposing forces
so strong? Like, I understand people have opinions because people are people. Polar opposites between two people I hold in equal regard: a professional writer from Time Magazine and a
congratulations to Shane. Well done, Shane.
So look,
high praise.
I'm going to try to avoid spoilers.
Okay.
Because you haven't seen it, first of all. But I think most of the world will have seen it by the time this episode comes out. So there might be a little bit of spoilers. You can cover yours.
Okay.
Here's the thing, right?
Right.
Wonder Woman is DC's first Marvel movie. Right? You get me? Right? I'm not saying if it's good or bad. It's good.
But
it
it's
is
very
good.
Stylized.
It's a Marvel movie. Someone in DC had the good sense to say, "Wait a minute,
finally,
let's do one of them. Let's do one of the good ones."
Because they make an awful lot of money.
Well, like we said last week, the DC movies were still making money, but they just weren't the critical darlings of the Marvel movies.
They're awfully liked as films.
Yeah, they're beloved. Would you say?
Yeah, everyone's got their favourite.
So it's exactly like it's not stunningly. It's not the greatest film ever made. This idea that Wonder Woman is the greatest superhero film that has ever happened. I don't know what movie those people are watching.
Okay,
it's just. It's a Marvel movie. It's a Phase 1 Marvel movie.
Phase 1
Marvel movie.
All the way back to the days of Phase 1.
2010. It's a 2010 Marvel movie.
Fair.
With 2017 graphics.
Nice.
Right?
No.
Here's what it is, right? It's exactly as good as Doctor Strange. Exactly.
Does that fill me with joy? No.
It's exactly as good as... Doctor Strange is a good film.
It's grand.
It's grand. Remember how Doctor Strange was kind of criticised as being basically a rethread of Iron Man, but with mysticism?
Yeah.
You could say that Wonder Woman is exactly a retread of Captain America, but with mystic women.
Mystic women?
Mysticism, mystic women. Stalagmites, stalactites.
Okay, so we've got two equal things with opposites.
But like
kind of
better than Saban 2007. Let me say that again. Better than
okay. Just go back. It's fine. It's fine.
Better than 2017's Saban's Power Rangers, which easily.
Okay. Well then,
which is
it's at least memorable.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Yeah. But look, let me say, look, how is it a Marvel movie?
Sorry, go ahead.
This is how it's a Marvel movie. First of all, wafer thin villains, paper thin. What's thinner than paper? Gossamer thin. Monomolecular thin.
How many thesauruses did you go
No,
through?
I don't even have this written down.
Oh, wow, okay.
This is off the cuff.
Just,
The villain's so thin.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's a Marvel, like it's less than a Marvel villain.
Are they German?
They are German. And they've forgotten they're not Nazis.
You know that? Oh no!
It's World War One.
Nazis didn't come till World War II.
You dopes.
Yeah, planks.
And speaking of that, actually, oh my God, the accents. They're trying to gain access to a castle. So Chris Pine dresses up in a not a Nazi.
Not a Nazi.
Just a German.
Chris Pine is not a Nazi, to the best knowledge of this podcast.
So he dresses up as a German officer, and his Arabic friend is his driver to try and sneak into the castle.
Oh, yeah, because an Arab wouldn't be out of place in World War I Germany.
Well, he's the driver. He's like his assistant, and he plays it up.
He's the help.
He plays it up. He's like, "Oh, my friend, I'm sorry, I forgot my invitation for my bus." That's
no. We're going to allow it because it's a parody of a parody.
That's slightly more racist than the actual thing.
Parody of a parody.
Chris Pine as what's his name? Steve Trevor. Yeah, Steve.
One woman's first love.
Yeah, a man called Steve in a war setting. Anyway,
blonde.
A blondish,
blue-eyed.
And he says, "Yes." Are you talking about Captain America?
Captain America and Wonder Woman fall in love. Is that not the plot of the movie?
That would be amazing. Best crossover. So, anyway, he's getting into the castle and he goes, "Why, driver? Why don't you have my invitation for this very important party of evil people?" That might not be word for word what he says.
I feel like it's a paraphrase.
Oh God, it's bad. That bit. The movie itself is fine. There's a somewhere out there in Scotland.
Beneath it. Sorry, couldn't have it. I love Fievel. Fievel goes west. Fievel comes to New York.
I used to be terrified of that cat monster.
He was awful.
That was a terrifying film.
Very off-putting.
Yeah.
Yoke.
We used to watch that in school, I think. You're bringing back a lot of traumatic memories here.
Sorry. For those of you that can't see, Mick is actually now in the corner of the room playing with action figures.
That's what I do normally. Anyway, somewhere out there in Scotland, with Mark Miller, probably, there are two men in a room recording a podcast complaining about the representation of Scottish characters in film.
As they should.
Yeah, and they have a character in this, in the kind of fake Howling Commandos.
We've
fake Howling Commandos.
Wonder Woman's Howling Commandos. Let's
play a game, Ben.
Okay.
We'll play a quick game. In this game, I'll give you something which happens, and then you have to tell me if this thing happens in Captain America: The First Avenger or Wonder Woman. So a man called Steve has to go on a mission into Germany. And in order to help him, he assembles a team, a ragtag bunch of ethnic stereotypes. Which movie do you think that is?
Is it both?
It's both. It was a trick question. Ben, hold on. Let's do a fairer one. Let's do this one. A man called Steve, played by a man called Chris,
right,
has to stop an experimental bomber from taking off with a new super weapon, which could extend the war.
Definitely Captain America the First.
It's both.
It's both. I'm walking into it. There's a ruse.
Look, here's the thing, right? This thing, it's a good movie. Okay. I liked it. I would see it again. It's exactly as good as Doctor Strange. If I was giving it a mark out of 1,000, I would give 743 out of 1,000.
That's 74%.
No, it's 743 out of 1,000.
74.3%.
Yes. Let's do some mathematics.
It's a gloomy day. We've covered this already. Today is a slow maple syrup in a refrigerator kind of day.
The thing is, though, right? This movie has inspired me to never access the website Rotten Tomatoes again, because it has a 93% fresh rating.
It got 100% at one point, didn't it?
Right?
It went all the way.
Meanwhile, Iron Fist which wasn't great. Iron Fist wasn't wonderful. Bit rough. Easily the weakest Marvel TV show
Seemed
so
like
far.
they just needed to round out the Defenders.
17%. They're just...
Don't think it was that bad.
Right.
I think we might be playing which one is more progressive. I think we might be playing the game show who's more progressive.
I don't want to say that.
I've said that.
You have. You will feel the wrath.
I've already got feminists coming after me. I'm okay.
Yeah, for dates.
That's your opinion. I doubt feminists would agree.
Okay, let's move on. Anyway, it's a good movie. Go see the movie. Better than Power Rangers. Ben, if a feminist wants to go on a date with Ben to Wonder Woman, that's fine.
It's fine.
So, Ben, let's get back to mysterious benefactor Dan.
Yeah, sorry.
And tell us what even is Fables?
What even is Fables? Fables is a Vertigo series. We've mentioned Vertigo on the podcast before. Vertigo is the independent, or rather mature, label for DC Comics.
Garth Ennis
And his shenanigans with priests and Irish vampires that say, "How are you?"
We weren't supposed to do this. Did you see the trailer for Preacher Season 2?
I did not.
It looks really good. We'll talk about it next week.
Oh, excellent. I can't wait, because I enjoyed Preacher Season 1.
I didn't, but that's a whole other episode.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. we'll get... Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Anyway, what it is a 2002 title from Vertigo, which kind of looks at a modern...
Let's play one of our famous games. How old were you in 2002?
Well, I'm 26 now, and it's 2017. So 15 years from 26. I was 11.
Yay!
I was 11 when the
What a
series
needlessly
came
complicated way of working that out.
Logic doesn't work in my brain. Leave me be. It came out in 2002. And it has a very simple premise.
Yep.
Every single fairy tale, nursery rhyme, folk tale, legend or myth that you heard when you were knee-high to a grasshopper.
The Boy Who Cried Wolf.
The Boy Who Cried Wolf, for example, which we'll feature later in the podcast.
Nice.
You've just, unbeknownst to yourself, stumbled upon a little thing.
I've stepped on a bit.
That we're going to do. You stepped on some bits. Not a year's worth, but it was enough to cause damage. Basically all of that entire canon of folk story, fable, etc. That's all real in this particular...
The goose that laid the golden egg.
All of it exists.
Wow.
There are anthropomorphic toads.
The ant and the grasshopper.
There are shape-shifting dragons and things like that. And there's witches.
Wow.
They all get along, and basically
The Lion and the Mouse.
The Lion and the Mouse are also there.
Yes.
Mick actually has his favourite book of fables open in front of him on the contents page, just to put me off.
The Fox and the Hound.
The Fox and the Hound also exists. They're all there. All of that canon.
The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
Also there. Believe it or not, it actually is there.
Is it?
The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe features, they have different domains within... So, basically, the fables originally existed in something called the Heartland. That's what they call it. They call it the Heartland or the Homeland. Okay, that's what they refer to it as. And there is an event, not dissimilar to the Avengers event, but with far longer lasting consequences. There is an evil entity in the Fables universe called the Adversary. Adversary.
I don't know.
Adversary?
I don't know.
Adversary. For those of you who prefer
Let's pick one each.
You can have... I'll say Adversary.
And I'll say Adversary.
Which is probably the better one, but sure, that's fine.
Okay. Adversary.
Anyway, we'll see you next week in Ben's Retractions. And then we keep going with that. And the Adversary... Adversary, whatever. He basically launched a huge campaign to wipe Fables out of existence and stole their homeland.
What a dickhead.
Bit Third Reichy. No, but there are elements of that.
Hitler's back
at play. It's not Hitler. It's not Hitler. But anyway, they are now considered to be Legends in Exile. That is the name of the first volume of Fables, and it's because they all live in New York now, in the not so subtly named Fabletown. Fableton, which sounds a little bit like a kid's show. It's not. Should be though. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how that works. Anyway,
who's the writing and drawing people?
so we have two main creators. We have Bill Willingham, who is the writer. He wrote all 150 issues, I think, of the original run.
Do you think his wife ever answers questions about him by saying, like, oh, someone says, oh, is Bill working on a new thing? And she says, well, I'm Willingham. That's not great, is it? Maybe we'll cut that out.
If you want to stop listening now, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm sorry.
I'd be disappointed, but I'd understand.
I'm sorry, sponsors. Sorry, mysterious benefactors.
God damn it, Dan's never going to us ever again. He's never going to do it again. And then, Bill Williams does all the writing. Mark Buckingham takes over the majority of the artwork, except for the first 5 issues, which were written by Mark Landon.
I don't know, it's here. It's in the tiny room somewhere.
Something like that. We have a copy of it somewhere.
We have a copy of it in the tiny room.
We'll come back to it. No,
it's not here.
The other person that probably should be mentioned is James Jean. He created these amazing ethereal kind of covers for each issue.
James Jean. Not the guy with the comb.
Well, you'd have to ask Shane. He'd probably know who James Dean was.
James Dean, not just a normal actor?
No, not just a normal actor.
Wait, who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of the normal actor. There is not just a normal actor.
Okay. Of
course, you wouldn't know this because you're in a happy relationship.
Yeah.
Some of us aren't. So we are.
God, that was dark. That got dark pretty quickly.
It was just supposed to be a bit. So yeah, basically, very popular series. Some very clever things done. It's kind of a really nice blend of modern fantasy meets high fantasy, I guess. It dips in and out of both universes. Sometimes it's very true to life, and other times it just goes completely off the deep end with the fable logic that comes with myths and legends. It's right up my street. I absolutely love it. I love mythology and fables and things like that, so it was one of my favourite series.
The Crow and the Pitcher.
While it was running. Crow and the Pitcher also features.
Do they?
Of course they do. It's one of Aesop's. Well, it's a bastardized versions of one of Aesop's fables, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So why can't I finish the sentence? We're doing a pitch. You're going to pitch this to me.
I'm going to do a pitch.
You're going to do a pitch
this week.
You're pitching. I'm catching.
That's the way it's always been.
Ask me why it doesn't exist already.
So, what kind of always surprised me, especially with the recent bout of adaptation, is why doesn't Fables even exist yet?
What a good question,
I thought
Ben.
so.
So, look, I've done some research.
No, you?
As is my want. And Fables, when it was really this was really popular, this comic book series. This is really
absolutely huge.
Took off. And NBC. The television network. I believe it stands for Nothing But Cocks. Probably doesn't.
I actually think it does.
Anyway, they optioned Fables for 2006-2007. So right at the height of its popularity.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, hello." Oh no, hold on. They'd be American, wouldn't they? Oh, hey guys, we really want to make this thing you got here into like a TV show or something.
Guys, this franchise is hot right now. We got to get on it.
Dangerously close to Morty.
I am a little close.
So they did that. They bought the option, and then they said, you know what? That looks expensive. We'll just make this thing called Grimm instead.
Oh,
right. Have you seen Grimm?
I have. I don't like Grimm.
So Grimm is it's a bloody well procedural.
Yeah,
it's a procedural.
Yeah,
but it's a procedural set in this very similar world where
exceptionally similar.
I mean, the first episode of Grimm is about a big bad wolf character who hunts and kills women who wear red clothes.
Gee, what does that sound like?
Little Red Riding Hood, Ben.
Oh, thanks.
Then, I mean, in Grimm, he gets a friend who's like a former big bad wolf who's now kind of
blue
recovered.
Is what it's called.
Yeah. So that's what became of the first effort.
NBC's
Nothing But Cocks.
Fables Dreams.
So Fables went back to an available property.
Yeah, the option was released.
Yeah, ABC. Anything but cocks.
Homophobic network. not a fan. Not a fan.
Is ABC is Disney, isn't it?
ABC is Disney.
Because ABC have the
because
Marvel
they
shows.
do all the Marvel shows.
So ABC optioned it for the 2009-2010
Which
season.
is really right up their street.
Yeah. And here's why. Because in the middle of probably adapting it, which you're going to do,
Sure.
they decided, that's all right and all, but what if we could make it a soap opera? And they created Once Upon a Time.
No.
Right?
Is that where that came from?
That's where that came from. So Once Upon a Time is about a bunch of fairy tale and mythological and fables characters from their original world, and then there's a big incident where an evil entity banishes them all to the real world.
I actually, just in case anyone thinks that I'm feigning, I did not realise this at all.
And so they're all banished to Storybrooke, which is
that's very, very close to Fabletown,
right?
Yeah,
and so that's 7 years in now.
Do not care.
That's 7 years in, 7 seasons. I think Grimm is
on 7, I think. Isn't
they've both got long runs out of essentially
the same premise.
The writers of both of these shows have kind of admitted, look, there are similarities. We might have read an issue or two of Fables.
Oh yeah, you just picked it up.
But we're telling a different story from the same book.
Do you think Bill is seeing money off these options?
I highly doubt. No, I wouldn't imagine.
Is he just tearing his hair out?
He has to be
like kitsch, like Coronation Street style plots.
Some of the casting in Once Upon a Time was pretty good, but anyway, that's it's pretty good.
I've never
Lana Parrilla, the lovely Lana Parrilla. She's the evil queen from Once Upon a Time. It's probably the only thing you know her from.
Okay.
I think she would have been a good Snow White, younger. But anyway, that's off topic. Then a couple of years ago, Warner Brothers, WB,
Wubs.
I can't come up with a humorous acronym for
White
WB.
bitches?
Oh, Jesus. It's got gritty in here.
We just went from nothing but cocks to anything but cocks to white bitches.
So they...
White butts.
White butts.
White butts.
White butts.
Is that a little bit...
children friendly. So white butts.
I'm not getting a feminist date to Wonder Woman. It's just not going to happen.
Warner Brothers decided to make a movie from Fables. A movie. Which is probably not a great idea because it's 150 issues.
That's like a long episode of a television show.
Well, these days.
True.
Kind of is. So they got David Yates on board to direct.
Okay. Could you fill me in on what he's done before?
Well, he's a Harry Potter man.
Oh, is he Harry Potter number 3?
Or 4. Azkaban,
I
think.
He's my favourite Harry Potter.
Probably the best Harry Potter. He's not the best Harry Potter. Daniel Radcliffe is the best Harry Potter. But
although that's fiercely contended between the pair.
Here's the thing. Shortly after that was kind of announced, it slowly kind of disappeared. And then Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them came about. Where do you find them?
In New York, apparently.
In New York. Mm-hmm. Well, in the suitcase in New York, but in New York. Okay. So he kind of went off that into another film about the magical side of New York.
That explains why I liked Fantastic Beasts so much compared to a lot of the Harry Potter films.
I'm telling you.
I really enjoyed Fantastic Beasts.
Were I the creators of Fables, I would be, I'm going to slam my book dramatically.
Okay.
Pissed off.
And that's that.
Okay, go on. Hit us with the pitch.
So, to preface this a little bit, we've pitched on this show before.
We have.
However, Michael possesses quite a keen talent for fully thought out arcs and a lot of very, very tight sequences. I am more of a scatterbrained buffoon, and I like to tell stories in big pictures. Because it helps me concentrate.
I like pictures.
So, to give you a little bit of a hint, my season 1, if you will.
So hold on, what network are we aiming for?
I would
what
say
format?
Actually, having seen American Gods, I would say we were aiming for Stars.
Stars.
By the time this is done,
wow.
Stars.
Get out of here, Netflix.
Or maybe HBO.
Wow, that
we're going. we're going to attempt a genre hybrid
Okay.
because, near as I can tell, in the recent climate with regards to media, genre hybrids are the type of movies that do the best, or the type of series that do the best. To give an example of that, Logan was a very interesting genre hybrid of the superhero film and family drama.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman is a war film and a superhero drama.
You reacted pretty quickly to that. Well done.
So, I think genre hybrids tend to do well, so we have a little bit of that going on.
Okay.
Right, so, to begin, just to get right...
8 episodes.
8 episodes is our podcast, scientifically determined by a battery of rigorous testing to be the best format for a series. So
we just made it up.
Rigorously tested. So we have 8 episodes.
Yes.
However, I'm going to paint it in arcs.
Yeah, broad strokes.
But rest assured, it will be 8 episodes in its final form.
Okay.
So, the 2 things that you need to pay the most attention to here is that there are 2 characters that this series will focus on more than any other, because the series Fables, whilst about all mythology, actually focuses on 2 characters as well.
Right.
The 2 characters are Bigby Wolf, which, if you're, a little bit slow, is Big B Wolf, which could also be Big Bad Wolf.
B stands for bad.
Okay.
Not
However, so it didn't seem too obvious. It's Bigby, as in Bigby.
Clever.
There's no flies on Bill. No flies on Bill. And the other character that's going to focus on is Snow White. So these are 2 characters that are extremely important to the original comic, and they are the centre of my pitch.
Okay. Can I interject for a second?
Yes, you can, absolutely.
I have read 1 issue of Fables.
Only 1?
Just 1.
Just the one?
Just 1 issue ever. The first one.
In anticipation of this?
Yeah, so this is going to be all new to me.
Okay, nice. I look forward to your childlike glee.
I'm so excited.
It's not going to be as good as Moonlight, though. I'm really nervous. So, the other important factor that we have to put in before I start is, actually, there are technically 2 canons of Fables now.
Oh.
Because in 2014, Telltale Games, which is a very popular game production company,
Walking Dead,
they did The Walking Dead, correct?
Batman.
And they specialise in moral choices games. So it's point and clicks with a little bit of RPG mixed in, things like that. They actually adapted Fables into a very, 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 very successful video game series. They did a Telltale video game series where they released each new chapter of the game in 2013, and it was called The Wolf Among Us, and it featured on a very heavily noir adaptation of Fables, and it worked wonderfully well.
Was it an adaptation, or was it an adaptation, or a retelling? Like, I mean, was it a new story? Let me just put that simply. Was it a new story or the same story?
I think it was a new story. Like,
okay.
You're reintroduced to the relationship between Snow White and Bigby in a whole new way. So I've taken elements from both. Okay. Because I feel that the darker tone set in the Telltale game might be more useful for television. For television.
That's what we do here.
That's what we do here. We like to go a little darker.
We synthesize.
We take a little bit of both.
Yeah, that's what synthesize.
So, we're going to start very simply.
Okay.
There's a man.
Oh.
He gets out of a cab.
Yeah.
It's episode 1.
Okay.
All we hear is footsteps. He's climbing up some stairs. He seems to go on forever and ever and ever. He comes to a door.
Oh.
The door says, S. White, Deputy Mayor.
Oh.
Okay? He bursts in the door.
It's Snow White. Sorry if I stepped on your bit. So he bursts in the door. And then we cut straight to something else. Oh, I've spoiled a bit.
Okay, no, you've spoiled no bits.
Okay, good.
No bits have been spoiled in the making of this podcast. And we cut straight to the next thing,
right?
Which is a steady dripping noise. Very, very standard kind of cliche noir scene. Okay. So we've got a little bit of blood.
Is it black and white?
It's not black and white. It's going to be more red.
Oh,
we're going to have more reds.
sepia? No, red.
No, heavily red.
Okay,
heavily
red.
red. It's going to be colour recolored to be heavily red. Colour corrected to be quite red.
Okay.
We hear a dripping.
Yeah.
We see something written on a wall. Can't make it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we pan across.
Oh, is it blood?
It could be blood.
Oh, Jesus.
It could be blood. So we pan across the room.
Mm-hmm.
And we see some objects. It's a New York apartment.
Yeah.
It's very clear. There's an ashtray. There's some vinyls. Probably a little hipster flannel.
Flannel's just
so Williamsburg
strewn
apartment
about the place.
And it's been turned upside down.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit of reefer.
Oh.
A little bit of reefer
Oh.
in the ashtray because smoking's not cool anymore.
No.
And then we see some objects that don't really fit.
Like what?
Some very old looking coins, for
Oh.
example. Some very strange looking jewellery, things like
Okay.
that doesn't seem really like something a hipster would wear.
It's out of place.
It's out of place.
Anachronistic.
Okay? And then we snap back to a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And the conversation, I want you to picture the red, and I want you to picture the fade in to a red leather chair, and I want you to come to the conversation.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay?
I'm with you.
Now,
You sound a bit like Darren Brown.
oh, am I?
It sounds like you're
I don't
hypnotising
mean
me.
to hypnotise. Anyway, we come to Snow White.
Okay.
And Snow White, in my version of events,
Mhm.
is... I have a slideshow here to show.
Slideshow. Really?
Yeah.
That-
Lena Headey from Game
Lena
of Thrones.
Headey.
I think she'd make a wonderful
Lena
Snow
Headey.
White. I thought that she would be rather fitting.
Out of left field.
Yeah.
Did not expect
A little
that.
bit. Now, she has to dye her hair black,
Obviously.
but I think Lena Headey would be quite good as a cold... Now, it's very important. We're going to build a character, because I'm big on character. Love character.
And motif.
And motif. I've got so many more. Stacks of motifs. Oh, God, I've got so many motifs, I don't know what to do with them. So, I want you to picture Lena Headey.
Okay,
The
I am.
lovely
Lena Headey.
with a very stern face.
She usually has one.
There is someone
Mm-hmm.
just talking at her.
Right. Just
Okay?
banging on.
Just banging on. And she's very composed. Very composed, and that's very important. So, we'll do a slow pan around. We'll see who's having the conversation. And it's a very beautiful woman.
Oh, good.
Okay? Yeah, I mean, we have to have a few beautiful
Is it
women.
Christina Milian?
It's not Christina Milian yet, but Christina Milian is going to be in the
Yay!
mix! So, it's not Christina Milian. Next to her is a large gentleman who looks to be in some kind of horrible disfigurement phase.
Oh, good.
Okay?
Oh, that's put me right off.
And the woman is basically being very sharp with Miss White. And this is where I want you to pay attention to the first tone that we're putting. This is going to be slightly bureaucratic.
Okay.
It's going to be a little bit comic.
Bit red tape.
Okay, very red tape, very in the thick of it. Very in the thick of it was a show for the BBC starring the current Doctor Who.
Malcolm Tucker.
Malcolm Tucker, also known as...
I can't remember his real name.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, fill the air, Ben. Fill the air while we
anyway.
try to remember.
Doctor Who. And very Veep. Little bit of Veep going on here. Touches of Aaron Sorkin will be thrown in later. Okay? So, the conversation is about something called a glamour.
Okay.
Okay? This woman...
The women's magazine.
No. A glamour is a spell used to conceal something that isn't supposed to look the way it does. It's cast by witches. Witches. Witches' butts, which is what Warner Brothers rebranded itself as once upon a time. Yeah. Anyway, she is asking for money to pay for a glamour, right? Because it turns out glamours are quite expensive things, because magic is not the easy to come by thing that it used to be in the Heartland.
Oh.
Okay, so got a little bit of exposition dialogue here. We understand that there are some characters. They don't belong where they are currently. They yearn for a yesteryear.
Yeah.
And it's not going very well. So we later find out in a not very subtle way that this is Beauty and the Beast from the original French fairy tale.
Very clever.
And in a very interesting way, Beast is mid-transformation because their marriage is a little bit shaky. Okay? Their marriage is a little bit shaky. Okay? For anyone that's read the comics, this is exactly the opening scene.
Scene for scene?
Of the almost scene for scene. There's a little bit of timeline jumpy forward.
Okay.
And the characters change a little bit. So we move on from there. We become very. We see that Snow White is actually very like a Kevin Spacey type character from House of Cards. She's very calculated and very cold and very
like Cersei Lannister.
Simple in his. I suppose not unlike Cersei Lannister. Absolutely. And she shuts.
Peter Capaldi.
That was his name.
Peter Capaldi. It's Peter Capaldi. Sorry, where were you?
So she shuts this down. And then we get a little hint of a little bit of tension between Beauty and Thing. And she goes on about how Snow White has divorced her prince centuries ago.
Can I ask why? Oh.
So the claws are coming out for this particular thing.
Why haven't you told us who's playing Beauty? Is she not that important?
Beauty's not that important for this arc.
Okay.
She will feature maybe later. I'm sure the studios will want some input when they buy the option.
Recast her.
Yeah, we can recast. It's fine.
Who played Beauty in Once Upon a Time? It was your one from Out of Lost.
Oh.
She was in Lost. She played Claire in Lost. I've forgotten her name.
You've lost me. So, anyway, thankfully this heated situation is diffused almost instantly by someone bursting through the door, and we realise that the man from the start who was running up the stairs, and he's revealed to be none other than, because I went on a Game of Thrones casting binge, Kit Harington! Kit Harington features in our Fables adaptation, and he's going to be Jack of Jack and the Beanstalk.
Oh, that's nice. So presumably this is going to happen after Game of Thrones ends.
Yeah, well, it has to, because HBO will need a new franchise, and they'll want to continue working with people that brought them so much money last time.
So, if HBO want to sponsor the podcast,
get in touch with me first, and don't let Mick know.
Sweet.
This is my pitch.
I've been betrayed, stabbed in the back.
Game of Thrones. So, this is the perfect moment. He bursts in. He says, "Snow, something horrible has happened." Blah blah.
Can I ask?
He's out of breath.
When he bursts in, does he have a shirt on, or is he shirtless?
He's shirtless in the slideshow, because I was quite impressed with like the midsection here. That 4-pack is it's a full 6-pack, I think.
No, there's an 8 going on there. I think
there's an 8. Oh, we got full. Oh, there's a hint of an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will have a shirt on in this.
Okay.
He'll be a little bit scruffy actually, much like Kit Harington often is.
Yeah.
But he's almost comical, and I want you to pay attention to that. He's very ridiculously out of breath.
Okay.
And Snow White silences him with a single look, and we cut to the next scene.
Oh.
The next scene is the two of them having a little chat. He's trying to understand, or he's trying to explain, she's trying to understand. And what comes out of this is that Snow White's sister, Red Rose, who is not an actual fable, but was something created for Fables, has gone missing. Jack of Jack and the Beanstalk was dating this woman. Okay?
Prime suspect.
And now she's gone missing. And Snow's only response to this is, Christ, we need the fucking sheriff. Okay? Now, so we followed very faithfully the first couple of scenes from the original Fables comic, and now we're going to jump to 2014's, because they turned it into a graphic novel. They turned the Telltale game into a graphic novel.
They adapted the adaptation.
Because Vertigo realised, people want more Fables in their life. Let's give it to them.
Yeah.
And they did. Now, all we see is someone hurtling out of a window. We cut straight to our scenes. This is our big bad introduction to the big bad wolf. And two men hurtle out of a window in a tenement building in New York somewhere.
Right.
And both hurtle down into a car, and you see it. Okay?
And they're dead.
So, the first man to hit the car smashes straight in. The other man rolls off and groans, then stands up. Okay?
Classic.
And now, this is where I had some debate. So, there are two people that I would choose to play Bigby Wolf. One of them is an Irishman.
A famous Irishman.
For any fans of Poldark, you're probably familiar with Aidan Turner.
Or The Hobbit.
Yeah, if you've seen The Hobbit, he's one of the dwarves in The Hobbit.
Or Being Human.
Being Human, he's a vampire. I actually quite enjoyed Being Human.
Yeah, Being Human was good. What else is he in? That's it.
That's about it for now.
I've summed up his career.
He'll be in more.
Yeah, he's quite popular.
He'll pop up again. He's a very handsome man. He's quite close to the comics. And so it could be him. Or
he might want to avoid being a werewolf, having been a vampire and a hobbit.
I'm fairly certain those communities don't actually hold grudges when it comes to casting decisions, so I'm not sure it's that much of an issue.
Or
the other possibility is Idris Elba.
Idris Elba? But he's from a different race.
He is, which is, you know, I'm sure some neckbeard somewhere is twisting his chin hairs right on round, pulling it, going, no, you don't need ethnic diversity. And I didn't choose Idris Elba because he's of a different ethnic background. I chose Idris Elba because he's quite a good actor.
He's quite good at acting.
And he's bloody good at being...
There's a huge age difference there between Aidan Turner and Idris Elba.
There is a huge age difference between the two, but it depends on the tone we're trying to put across in the thing. So, actually what this introduces is our second tone. So we have our first tone, and this is what makes it a genre hybrid. It's a little bit of a bureaucratic political satire.
Yeah.
And we're also going to have a noir arc running through. And both themes are represented by both characters. Bigby Wolf is noir, and Snow White is the bureaucratic thing. And the two worlds shall meet. The two worlds shall meet. So, what's actually happening in this interaction is that the huntsman of the famous Red Riding Hood fable, who murdered the wolf, and Bigby are scrapping. Okay? We could make him Chris Hemsworth if you want to give a little nod to the Strange movie.
That was very strange.
It was strange. It wasn't awful. Like, special effects were pretty good. Like, the overall movie was kind of garbage. But
anyway.
Yeah. So anyway.
Worse than Power Rangers.
So they're kicking each other's asses. And from this we're getting a little bit more exposition. These guys are hitting each other pretty goddamn hard. Objects are being thrown, glasses being stuck in them, and they're not going down.
Because they're some sort of special.
Because fables are pretty hard to kill. Now, in the original arc, not that hard to kill a fable. Pretty easy to do. In the Telltale game series, pretty difficult to kill a fable. They have longevity based on their popularity as a story.
Oh, like
so
American Gods.
Yeah, so the more popular they are, the tougher they are.
Okay.
Pretty common trope with that kind of modern adaptation stuff. So it's pretty nice. This is where ultraviolence suddenly kicks into where...
I thought you said Ultron.
No, Ultron swoops down, and Snow White and the Huntsman and Bigby form a new Avengers to replace the crappy Avengers movie that I hate. So, I'm never letting it go.
Let it go.
So, we start to see a lot of things. It becomes very clear that the Huntsman is inebriated. There has been some kind of altercation in the building up above. He keeps saying, "Don't you know who I am?"
Right.
Okay? Which leads me to the name of our first episode. Don't you know who we were? Which is what I'm going to call the episode. That's because I'm not a subtle man. No. But I don't need subtlety. This is about fables. It's about fables. Yeah, I'm fine. So, all this kicks off. And here's where a very violent moment comes in. And we understand that there are two very distinct tones in this show. This is told to us by a man who looks suspiciously like a toad.
Okay.
Peering out of the broken window.
Some sort of toadman.
Okay. We see that the huntsman lunges for Bigby. Bigby very quickly sidesteps. Okay. He falls into the car. Okay. Okay. And Bigby goes to slam the door. Which is quite a violent scene, if you think about it. Okay. And the way we see this is the toad peers over the thing. He looks. We see the door swing. And then we flash back to the toad who just closes his eyes and you hear the crunch.
Oh, come on. Okay. If it's stars, we might as well have
Well, we can go full. But we'll cut back to Bigby, who's now covered in the huntsman's blood. And he lights a cigarette. Okay? So this is our introduction. We know everything we need to know about Bigby. Not one for subtlety.
Yeah.
Not a fan of doing things slowly. Procedure be damned. To hell with it all.
Not worried about cancer.
Yeah. He's the sheriff. He has probably the most longevity of any fable on the planet. The Big Bad Wolf is just incredibly famous in all mythology. He's in Russian mythology, he's in German mythology, he's all over the place. He's in French mythology, he's everywhere.
People are scared of wolves.
People are scared of wolves, and they tend to turn them into big bad wolves. So, he calls up to...
Your one?
The toad.
Oh, the toad?
The toad. Okay. And he says, if I don't see a glamour on you next time I'm around, your head goes in the door.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so he's not... He didn't take no shit.
How would Aidan Turner say that?
If your head's not in the door... Or no, if I don't see a glamour on you next time, your head's going in the door.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I thought that was actually okay. for a split-second impression that I had no time to prepare for, I'm pretty happy.
Pretty good.
So, the two distinct tones have been started. Okay, now this is where I'm going to break it down because we don't have all the time in the world. Oh my.
15 minutes. We're 15 minutes.
I'm so sorry.
No,
so
right.
I'm going to break it down into broader arcs now, and I'm going to explain how this works very, very quickly. Basically, the first half of our 8-parter is going to be very much based on the search for Red Rose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is she? Where even is she?
Turns out in the original comics that Red Rose and Jack have concocted a scheme because they're kind of like a con artist couple.
Yeah.
And the whole thing's a ruse to get some money. But that introduces some very interesting characters to us and the rest of our wonderful cast. Red Rose I actually chose as Nina Dobrev from The Vampire Diaries.
Never heard of her.
Okay.
She seems quite attractive.
She pops up every now and then. She's kind of a funky party girl thing, so can I suit that character.
Well,
anyway.
Okay, so we never thought she was dead.
See, okay, so the tone in the first half of our show is always lighter, but occasionally, not unlike the door scene, it will drop into this very dark territory.
I like it.
This will become, it'll be very jarring to watch, but for some reason, I hope to write it in a way that would be very intriguing as well. Bigby kind of emphasizes this character a lot because he is hated by the Fable community.
Why?
Because he was, once upon a time, the big bad wolf.
Oh yeah, okay, that
who
makes
ate
sense.
most of them.
That makes sense.
Okay? And because Fables run in cycles, everyone regenerates and comes back, and that's how it works. However, he is always the one that does the eating. Okay. So he is outside, which is why Snow appointed
they come
him.
back?
They come back quite often. Not anymore, but they used to.
Okay.
And Snow White chose him because he's completely outside, which falls completely in line with what noir fiction and hardboiled detectives do. It is very much based in that.
Does he have a trench coat?
He does have a trench coat.
Does he have a trench
coat? He does. Yeah, he does have a. He has a big old trench coat. Yeah, and it's quite important for that reason. So once we do that, you'll be introduced to a couple of different characters. Very interesting. So the first one is a very simple hardboiled detective thing. It's a little bit light. We see a political satire in how Snow has to keep the community together and maintain order. Not dissimilar to what we see when there are terrorist incidents in modern times or things like that, where you have a lot of PR spin, things like that, a lot of press conferences.
We should be on Twitter.
A lot of stress. Yeah, should be on Twitter, exactly. Except we'll have some Fabletown equivalent of Twitter. They'll all have a scroll that updates or something. I don't know. So, anyway, the important thing is that this will be very light, and occasionally it will be made dark. And what's very interesting about that is Bigby is actually in human form, but he is capable of transforming into a ginormous wolf at will. And he struggles to maintain his human form quite often.
Like Bear with a minigun.
Okay? Like Bear with a minigun. Okay? But when he goes full wolf, or full bear...
No wolf.
People die.
Okay.
He is one of the strongest entities in Fableton. Okay? Which is another reason that he is the sheriff. And this dichotomy between the man who wants to be part of the Fable community and who wants to come back and the animal is going to be very, very apparent in the tone. Now, so we will have wrapped up the mini-plot
mystery
of missing Red Rose by episode 4.
Okay.
So, not unlike the Luke Cage twist.
Oh, the twist.
Or the thing like that. We are going to see a huge tone shift or a huge shift in characterization. Okay? So, as I said, there's another important character in the Fable universe. Normally in noir fiction you have the detective who makes a monologue. At the start of every noir film you do a slow pan in towards an office window. It's darkly lit. There's a man at a desk. He's got some bourbon.
Humphrey Bogart.
There's Humphrey Bogart, Robert Mitchum, take your pick. And he's talking. Now he's not talking his monologue is the framing device. However, I didn't want to do that because it would be very on the nose.
Bit obvious.
I decided that I would give him a foil. And luckily, he has a foil in the comics. It's Colin the Pig. Colin the Pig is one of the 3 little pigs from the original series. So like I said, the tone's a little bit lighter in the first 4 episodes.
Okay. Is this an actual pig?
Yes, it's an actual pig.
Just a little cute
there
pig.
are some animals who can't shapeshift.
Okay.
Bigby can shapeshift because his story requires it. For example, when he ate the grandmother, he shapeshifted into the grandmother to fool Snow
what
White.
big teeth you have.
But the more hungry he becomes or the more angry he gets, he can't keep the form, which is how she notices. Do you understand? So we have lots of stuff like this going on. Now, the other really, really interesting thing here is that the man I want to do the voice of Colin the Pig is H. John Benjamin, who is on Archer. I don't have an Archer impression, but I really wish I did. So I think this is very important. He's going to be a very light-hearted thing who constantly tries to convince Bigby that he's not as bad as everyone thinks. So he's Bigby's kind of little he keeps escaping from something called the farm.
Okay.
And we won't see the farm until season 2.
Okay.
But there will be lots of hints dropped because he will appear every once in a while. He will have escaped from the farm and he will just be in Bigby's apartment.
Oh, you had me at Talking Pig, played by Archer.
And Bigby, in Bigby's darkest moments, he talks with the pig. Mm-hmm. And the monologue, he talks over the case of the missing red rose, things like that. Now, something terrible happens by the end of the first 4 episodes. We will have invested a lot of time in Colin the Pig.
Oh, not Colin the Pig!
And once we realise that it's a ruse...
One of Archer's favourite
and we will
words.
have introduced other ones, okay? It's a ruse. Once we realise that, a copycat killer will have emerged. One who doesn't realise that the whole affair was a ruse.
Oh.
Okay? The end of episode 4, after we've discovered the con attempt by Jack and Red Rose, will be that we see Colin has been beheaded.
No!
Yeah, Colin has been beheaded.
Oh, Colin!
So we've invested all that time and effort into the thing, but it's cool. We'll have flashbacks between Bigby and Colin,
I'm heartbroken.
so we won't waste H. John Benjamin. But this huge snap again serves as a massive jarring thing.
No.
Okay, it's to shake you out of what you had, and now we understand why I chose HBO or Stars.
You shook me out of my reverie.
Yeah. So we had this very kind of kitsch noir parody for the first half, occasionally dipping down into the darker elements of the thing, and now we're just going to flip over into Bigby's world.
Colin's dead.
Do you understand? Colin is dead, unfortunately. Colin is dead. And then we're going to really see Bigby start to struggle with bureaucracy, because he is a sheriff and he likes to do things by the rules because he feels that's the appropriate way to continue, and constantly hitting brick walls. So he begins to become more and more wolf-like. Snow White is trying to maintain order in the city. She often accompanies Bigby. There's a little bit of a romantic entanglement between her. She could be the salvation of Bigby Wolf.
Oh.
We don't know.
Season 7.
But anyway, this serial killer begins to strike throughout
Fableton.
He chooses unusual targets, shall we say, that seem to have something to do with something called the return movement.
Oh.
Okay? The return movement will be touched on in season 2.
Okay.
So there's little hints to do to this. So we're not really sure what's happening there. Okay? Anyway, here the real jig is, are you aware of Ichabod Crane? And who Ichabod Crane is?
Headless Horseman.
Ichabod Crane comes from the Headless Horseman. He was a school teacher, and by all accounts,
Johnny Depp.
a bit of a milksop of a human being.
Yeah.
To use the 1950s vernacular, because I was reading that kind of fiction all week. He will turn out to be the serial killer. Either him or the Crooked Man. I have not decided which one it will be. It will be played by John Glover. Do you know John Glover?
John Glover.
I don't know if I have...
Glover?
I don't have him in the
John
slideshow.
Glover?
John Glover was Lex Luthor's father in Smallville.
Yes,
So he will be played by him.
Yes, of course.
So as it turns out, he was not a serial killer in the way that they thought. He was silencing people who were dissenting from this return movement. Okay. However, this will lead into season 2. Overall, what we should have by the end of our Fables pitch this time is not a case of the weak procedural like Grimm or something like that. It's a much longer drawn out satire / true detective style long journey into finding things like that. Obviously along the way we're going to work in some really nice graphics to represent the fairy world in all its glory, things like that. And yeah, so that's my pitch. It's more of a treatment. It's not really a pitch.
It's an elevator. Well,
it's
it was the world's longest elevator. then it would be an elevator pitch.
Yeah, it's more of a if it was the world's longest elevator, it's more of a treatment how I would go about adapting.
Where's Christina Milian at?
She I never really got around to that. Christina Milian would play Cinderella. At one point, Cinderella is the femme fatale of the series, and I didn't have time to flesh that out completely. So it would either be her or a fantastic actress. So I don't think I have in the slideshow either. But anyway, that was the broad strokes of what I would do. There would obviously be subplots, nice little nods to mythology here and there. I don't know. So that was my treatment. Anyway,
Yeah, I'd watch it.
it's hard. Okay.
I'd watch it as long as it was 8 episodes. I'd watch it.
It would be 8 episodes. It's not hard to please you.
That's what I do now. I just watch things that are 8 episodes.
8 episodes. That's fair.
How many seasons? 6 seasons in a movie?
See, no, I'm not a fan of 6 seasons in a movie. I'm far more a fan of maybe 3 seasons. 3 strong.
3 seasons?
3 strong seasons by out.
For 150. Are you saying that not all 150?
I don't think all 150 things are necessary, especially if we're starting to combine canons.
Oh.
We're in new territory. I think if you wanted to pitch full 3 seasons, first one would be the opening romance of Bigby and Snow White. Next one would be early days, and third one would be married life of Snow White.
Oh, spoilers!
Bigby Wolf. Yeah,
that's spoiled. So Ben, before we wrap up for today, because we only got a couple of minutes left, give the readers some recommendations. Ben's recommendations.
So I spent the week watching noir stuff. I had a lot more to say, but it just didn't fit. Philosophy of Noir Films by Mark T. Conrad is a fantastic compilation of criticism and research into noir and what makes it good. 2 movies that I highly recommend are The Killers and Maltese Falcon. It's always a winner in my book. If you want to see the type of characterization that should be used, those are the 2 that I recommend. And then obviously just check out Fables as a series. I actually think the Telltale Game graphic novel adaptation is very, very good.
Really?
Yeah.
So don't start from the beginning, start from that.
If you wanted to start there would be no harm.
Oh.
There would be no harm.
Cool. Where can people contact us then? If they want to leave us any comments or suggestions.
If you want to tell me that my pitch was very boring, you can contact me on Facebook, or you can let Mick know and he will abuse me verbally in next week's podcast. You can do that through Instagram or Twitter.
Yes, we also Michael and Benjamin's podcast also has a Facebook page now.
It has a Facebook page now?
We have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram, and we're on Twitter at Mick and Ben.
You are so good at this social media
I am
stuff.
social media.
You are.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.